Welcome back to the second installment of Sales Haven Insights with Aaron Watson. Aaron picks up where he left off discussing his feelings of unethical selling, as well as discussing his tips and hints on LinkedIn and how he uses it to leverage business. Enjoy.
What would you say to those people? What would you sort of your top tips be for those people who are selling like that?
Just don't do it. It's you know, personally for me anyway. Again, this is only my own sort of how I would perceive it, but I just don't like it when people say to me, if you don't take this now, then it's going to be X Y Z price next month. I would tend to just go, doesn't matter then, because I feel that you know it's 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 for their gain. They're not actually too fussed about whether I'm happy with the product or whatever. It's more for their. For example, I was looking for kitchens, and I was in with a place. This my wife just looked at me and she was like, "Really?" We were in looking at kitchens. The guy was great. Chatting away, went through everything. You sit in the sofa, you have the TV on the screen or on the wall, and he's going through all the processes and all the rest of it. And we're given an hour slot. And then, we're obviously this booked in at 12 o'clock, I think it was. And then about 10 past 1 or whatever it was, we'd run 10 minutes over. And a girl came from behind the wall and said, Johnny or whatever his name was, listen, you need to wrap up here. We've got two more people coming in. And I just stopped straight away and I said to my wife in front of the guy, that's really bad. Like, we're wanting to spend thousands and thousands of pounds on the kitchen here. And this girl's just said, right, you need to get these out the next to him. And I said to him, I feel like it's just an elevator process, you know, in, out, in, out. And then he apologized now, but also before that, he had he had said to me that they need to sell 11 kitchens, I think it was, or 9 kitchens, whatever it was. Told me how many kitchens they had to sell. Um, and I thought, probably shouldn't have told me that, because now I know I'm just one of your 8 kitchens or whatever it was you need to sell this week.
Yeah.
And then, of course, when the girl came in, so I just thought that was really bad management. And actually, I had a call. They asked, you know, how are you getting on? Would you be using us or what the crack is? And I just told them straight, I thought that was really bad. I didn't feel like it was, for us, that you were really, it was just felt like, get this person in and get the next one in and get the next one in. Let's get this 9 a week.
Yeah.
So
There
one
was
thing I
no.
would say is,
Yeah.
don't tell your potential buyer how many sales you have to get that week, because it doesn't no, didn't like it.
Yeah. And how did that make you feel? What was the feeling?
It just it, personally, again, I just felt that I was part of this conveyor belt.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like obviously me and my wife as a couple were wanting to spend a lot of money, so it wasn't like we were just getting in and spending a tenner on a I don't know,
Bottle of wine or something.
a bottle of wine. Well,
Yeah.
£10, £6 or £7 would be me, like. But you know what I mean. So it didn't make me feel too good, to be honest, and
Yeah.
I didn't go with it. So.
Yeah. So again, that's comes down to confidence and trust. Do you know what I mean? You knew that those guys were just out for the money. You know, they didn't
Absolutely,
care.
yeah.
They didn't care about how you felt. They didn't take into account, that this was going into your home. This was probably going to be in your home for a decade, maybe more.
Exactly.
And there was just no confidence, no trust, and you could just see that they're just trying to sell to you. And again, that's very poor. To be fair, Jahn, we've got some great insights from a buyer's perspective here. From your
Mm.
point of view, being a business and personal. From being a buyer's point of view, which is great. Not a lot of people think of it like this. Um, do you feel that those companies who sell to you are the ones who actually care? Are the ones that actually value your time and value your thoughts and your views?
The people I'm buying off, you mean?
The people that, yeah, the people that you're ban off, do you think all that rings true, that you need to feel that
You
they
need to,
actually care?
yeah. I think you need to feel it. Now, don't get me wrong. I know, people are out there doing a job, Their main concern is to pay their mortgage, look after their kids and their families. Don't get me wrong, I know that, but you certainly have to give the customer an experience, I think, and at least show that you do actually care about what you're selling, and you do have some sort of passion. For what I do, I have massive passion. I absolutely love it. Wake up in the middle of the night thinking about it. It's sad, but I love it.
Not at all.
And everybody doesn't have to be like that, but I'm just saying that's how I feel. So if I'm sitting with someone and I can sort of see, they don't really care whether I'm here or not. They just want the next one in, the next one out. I'll feel that
Mm-hmm.
personally. So that's something that I try. I don't really need to try to do it because what I'm doing, I absolutely love it, and I think people can see that. And I'm always contacting people during the year and say, look, it's Christmas, it's Easter, it's July holidays. Let's get messages updated here. I'm not waiting for people to come to me. I'm always trying to provide that service and always trying to, keep in touch. Quite often, a lot of my um, customers, so to speak, would be on my social media or would be in touch maybe via events in Northern Ireland and stuff. So I feel that I have a pretty decent rapport,
Mm-hmm.
um, and people will know that I genuinely love what I'm doing. I'll do handstands
Yeah,
to let people know.
definitely. But it's so true in what you're saying there as well, Aaron. And I call it the belief gap. So
Yeah.
when you sell a product that you genuinely believe in,
Hmm.
um, the people that you're speaking to will believe in that product as well, or that service.
Absolutely.
Um,
Yeah.
you believe, you put your heart and soul into building your business, and you know for a fact that your service improves people's businesses. You know that for a
Hmm.
fact. I know it for a fact, and the customers
Hmm.
that you have, they know that for a fact. So whenever you have that belief in yourself and in the business and the service you're selling, your customers will believe that too. And
Hmm.
that also builds trust and it builds confidence. Because if you go right down to the bare bones of sales, it's trust and confidence. If a
Hmm.
buyer trusts you and has confidence in your service and in confidence in you, it's a no-brainer. They'll probably end up doing business with you. But if we go
Yeah.
back to that description of you going to buy a kitchen or buying a car, you're just on the conveyor belt,
Hmm.
right? Get them in, get them sold, get the next one in,
Get them
get
out.
them sold, and get them out the door. Let's make the money. Let's get the quick buck. And in today's
Hmm.
world, people don't like that. People want relationships. People want to have a long-lasting relationship with the company that they know is going to look after them. Um,
Hmm.
so there's a saying. It's with him. What's in it for me? And I,
Hmm.
I use this quite a lot. It's what's in it for me. So what's in it for the customer? What's in it for you? So what's in it for you as a salesperson, as a business owner, making a bit of money, building a legacy for your family. But what's in it for the customer? So the customer's going to get a good service. The customer's buying journey, so their experience when they come in,
Hmm.
look at that. These two companies you mentioned obviously aren't looking at their customer buying journey. You know,
Hmm.
if you were to go into Jaguar, right? You look at their showroom on the Boucher Road, right? And you go into Jaguar, I can guarantee you their customer experience is phenomenal. I bet you go
Hmm.
in and you get a coffee out of a gold cup, you know, or whatever it is, their customer experience is going to be phenomenal. That's a big company, so there's no reason why you can't look at a big company and do that in your own business. You know,
Absolutely. Yeah.
these businesses, the PWCs, the Jaguars, the Oak Furniture Land, whatever that is, these guys know that if they sell the experience so well, customers will buy off them. So what
Absolutely.
one of the things I would say, Aaron, off the back of everything that you've said, um, is assess your customer buying journey as a business owner and as a sales professional. Assess your customer buying journey from the first point. You're at the start of the buying journey, Aaron. From the first point of
Hmm.
contact right down to the last point of contact, and then the after sales, the aftercare. What does that look like? Is it good? Is it bad? Do people complain? Do people keep coming back to you because of it? Um, these are all things to consider when you're in business and when you're starting the sales journey.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, a big thing for me always has been even for years and years is, quite often people will sell you something, and then once you've sold, that's it. You go back to them with a query about something they don't want to know. I absolutely hate it. It balls my absolute battling. And you'll get an email saying speak to the service team, or speak to the customer service team, or speak to, but you were all over ringing me and texting me and emailing me for fucking 4 months
Yeah.
they would do a bot off you, and then the minute they bought off you, I speak to customer service, because it's something that I hate
Yeah.
it. It sounds like I'm slating salespeople, but I'm not. It's
But
just,
Aaron,
my experience.
do you know what it is? And it's one of the reasons why we've put this series together, because there's a lot of sales professionals out there that don't they make promises and they don't say that, they don't follow up on their promises,
Hmm.
or they overpromise and underdeliver. They
Hmm.
say
Hmm.
anything to get the sale through. Then once the sale's through,
Hmm.
see you later.
Hmm.
And they end up delivering a subpar service. And those
Yeah.
examples that you've given us is absolutely fantastic, because it's a prime example of what's still happening in the sales industry. So business owners can learn from this. Business owners can learn from what has just been said by yourself, Aaron. You know, don't don't just drop the ball because you've got a bit of money coming in. Keep that service going. Show your customers that you actually care about them. If you actually care about your business, you will do that, just like yourself. But it's
Hmm.
that belief gap as well. If you actually are working for a company that you believe in, or you're in sales and you're selling the product that you believe in, you're going to have no problem selling. But
Absolutely.
if you're selling cars and you have no interest in cars, have a look, have a word with yourself. Basically, go and find a product that you believe in, that you like, and that you know is going to change someone's life probably. Um, and you're probably going to find that you're going to be able to sell it a little bit easier. So
Hmm.
yeah, listen, I think that those are some great points that you've hit on there, Aaron. Um, One thing I want to move on to now is, so it's no, it's it's no discredit to yourself, but LinkedIn, right? I'm a big fan of LinkedIn. And there's lots of people out there that hate LinkedIn, right? And there's lots of people out there that say um, people are doing LinkedIn wrong. Okay,
Hmm.
I I'm in your side. I'm in your camp here, because I believe that anybody who doesn't know who Aaron Watson is on LinkedIn, they've been living under a rock. Um, so from your point of view, Aaron, right? LinkedIn has been one of the key platforms to your success. Would that be right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay. So talk to me a little bit more about that, because I'm intrigued to know, because in this current climate, everything's digital now. Everyone's working from home,
Hmm.
right? Everyone's
Hmm.
working from a computer, and everybody's going to be marketing digitally. Everybody's going to be doing emails, social media, all that. In my eyes, you are a professional social seller. Um, you've developed such a great following on LinkedIn, and what I want to do now is just take a few minutes for you to explain how that has actually happened. Because
I don't know.
has anybody ever took the time to talk to you about this, and to
um,
understand in a bit more detail how this happened for yourself?
Probably not really. No, I've never really sat and said, "Oh, well, this is what I did, and this is how I did it, and this is why I did it." I mean, I have certainly, when I come back to the guys at Creative Three, Chris and Henry. Certainly when people ask me, "How did you come to LinkedIn?" or "Where, how did you get introduced?" and so on, I would always say, "Look, the guys at Creative Three persuaded me to come on board," which I did. But it wasn't, when I first came to LinkedIn. Uh, I wasn't really getting any engagement, or wasn't really building any relationships and such. It just took a bit more time. I think definitely uh, one of the things that really helped was actually going to the events as well, because when you go to the events, then you meet people, then you connect with them on LinkedIn, and then you've got that sort of more than just being this online robot. You're actually a real person. Um, but yeah, when I first came to LinkedIn, the biggest concern was, and I've said this before, is my biggest concern was I'm a bit of a buck agent. I like to have a laugh. But I also am very, very serious and very, very, very passionate about what I do, and I want to succeed and do really, really well, and want to really provide a I just love it. I love going out to places, out to different businesses every week, and I love it whenever people, which is literally everybody that I work with, are so happy and pleased with what I've done for them.
Mhm.
Um, and you know, yeah, coming to LinkedIn, quite a high percentage of the people that I am doing business with I've met through LinkedIn. Now, it's not a case of going necessarily and inboxing every Tom, Dick, and Harry on LinkedIn. Now, don't get me wrong, I have done that, but the majority of my work has come from people coming to me. So, try and engage. What I would always say is try and connect with the right people. So there's not depending on what you do, but for me personally, it's better, I suppose, to connect with people in Northern Ireland. That's not to say that you can't. I don't in Scotland, England, and so on. I do, of course, I do, but try and connect with people locally and be yourself. That was my biggest issue. If I go on here and be myself, which I'm a bit of a mess about a bit, people maybe won't believe in what I do. And also at this point, when I came to LinkedIn, I already had two or three fairly big businesses on board, which I still do, thankfully.
Okay. Yeah.
I was worried that they would go, Aaron Watson, why do you want him associated with it? You see why he's getting on. But in fact, it was quite the opposite. Now I do I have my haters. I've had it. Still get the trolls. Um, but on the whole, most people have been very supportive, and I would actually rather be supported for who I am rather than maybe come on and be this Mr. Prim and Proper three-piece suit and speak with a beautiful voice, which I can do. It does.
And the more that you watch the types of people on LinkedIn, we find that the prim and proper isn't working anymore. You know, we're always told to be authentic and be ourselves. I mean,
Absolutely. I was
what
just going to say that.
what does that look like? What does authentic and being yourself look like?
Uh, I think, I mean, when you say be yourself, you don't need to come on and with a bottle of wine and getting on like a wombat. I think be yourself is just be who you are in a normal day-to-day basis. I think you need to be genuine. Quite often, if you be yourself, then you are genuine. Whereas if you try to come on and portray yourself to be maybe something that you're not, then you're not genuine. And that was kind of where I just thought, right, I'm just going to be myself and bring a bit of, you know, for example, on LinkedIn, if you scroll through and you get a majority of people in suits and they're sitting in their office and it's you kind of tend to scroll by that. Whereas what I decided to do was to do handstands and cartwheels and jump out of bins and climb trees and stand on the garage roof and do things that would make people stop. And quite often people would actually comment and say, Aaron, I actually stopped because I was wondering what the hell you were doing. But yeah, I like it, and from that, I continued to do that. Don't get me wrong, I have my haters. I have
Mhm.
people,
Aaron,
whatever,
two
bitch about me.
fingers to the haters. Who cares? Who cares, mate? Listen, at
um,
the end of the day, you're being yourself.
yeah, and it works. So,
Yeah.
so what I was going to say is, there's a great um, sort of quote: "You need to stand out on a crowded platform," and that was literally just what I decided to do. And that was it. I mean, the rest is history, I suppose.
Yeah.
I've decided and I continued to just, be myself, have a laugh. And actually, because most people are being very serious and you need to be serious and you need to do this and you need to do that, whenever I'm actually doing something different. So, yourself in life, when somebody's a bit different or something's a bit different, it stands out.
Mhm.
So, so that's just, don't get me wrong, like I do be serious. um,
Yeah.
Also, I do go to many businesses and sit around a boardroom table and do the whole, um, there's a time and a place for everything, isn't there? But yeah, I've just decided that that's the way forward for me on LinkedIn, and it's worked.
Okay.
Yeah.
So LinkedIn, like I say, like we both said, it's a very serious platform. So your way of coming over that, I mean, from standing in garages to having kitchen sinks to jumping out of bins and stuff, that's memorable. So you're never going to be forgotten. Um, in terms of posting the content, so just a couple of questions I have in my head that I know a lot of salespeople are thinking about. So, in terms of posting the content, is there any particular days you post content on, or do you just find your material just basically sells? It goes off Richter scale.
I think now I could post morning, noon, or night, and that would be okay. I've been to a few courses on LinkedIn, and that's probably different now, but a year or two ago, they would have said post at 7 in the morning and post at 6 in the evening, I think it was. But then I know a year or two ago, somebody said, no, it's better posting at 8 in the morning. I don't do that at all. I just post as and when. And it generally, uh, would do, get a good reach. I don't know whether, yeah, I mean, going on guidelines from a year or two ago, to say 8 in the morning and 6 in the evening.
Okay. And in terms of engagement, so when people engage your content, because you've had quite a good bit of business off LinkedIn. Um, in terms of engaging with people, so if someone likes your posts, I mean, I don't know, hundreds, 150, I think I've seen people like your posts. Um, do you go through that list and pick people out and go, listen, I could maybe do business with them? Do you contact them? What's your sort of approach when you're engaging with people?
I don't do that actually. It's not something I actually thought of doing. um,
Okay.
but um, I, you, I kind of, I know kind of this, you have people there that would support me every day, every week, and I would know who those people were. You know, as I said earlier, I most of my work will come from people coming to me on LinkedIn rather than me actually going to them. Now I have done that's what I touched on that earlier, but I have done wee spells where I've went out and sent out a few private messages or direct messages, but I don't do um, you know I look at their company. I would listen to what their phone is on their phones and have an idea, and then send them a message. I don't just do this block email and go boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
You know, and I'll say who the company is. So I'll say, dear Kenny, and then I'll say, what your business name is, and then I'll say, I hear you have a female on your telephone messaging service. It sounds like a staff member. You know, so I know exactly. You'll know. Oh, Aaron sent me this message. This isn't a block email that they send out to everybody, if you know what I mean.
It's not a cold email or a cold mail as
Yeah.
such, And I guess this is why I was asking this here, because when most people look at people who are being successful on LinkedIn and getting lots of views and lots of likes and lots of engagement, they just think the business comes in, and sometimes it does, as you've rightly said. But what you've actually alluded to, there's a bit of a process to
Absolutely.
actually getting
Yeah, yeah.
business. So it's not just about listen, put the content out there, get the likes, because likes don't get sales. Essentially,
No.
it's
Hmm.
the aftermath. So it's, are you connecting with people? Are
Yeah.
you reaching out to people? Are you talking to people that are maybe engaging with you, as opposed to just
Hmm.
listen, I put this content out and everybody just comes to me and I get business, happy days, I'm away. It's not just as easy as that,
Hmm.
is it?
No, I mean, another thing that would happen is I would engage with people. Then we would go for a coffee, or we would meet up at events, or it'll turn out that their mate knows me and I know them, and then that business will come from that. But again, it still come from LinkedIn.
Yeah.
But I'm not certainly saying I just sit back. I put a lot of time and energy into LinkedIn. I don't just sit back and then wait for it to come to me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, a lot of the stuff what I do, um, it does take some time, and I do. One thing that I would say you should do is have a look and see who's viewed your profile. Now, because I'm obviously on premium, which is £50 a month, I'll have a look and see who's viewed my profile, and if they're not connected, I'll add them, because not solely because I want to sell to them at all. Not, but if they viewed my profile, they've obviously shown some interest in either me or what I do.
Hmm.
So why not connect? That's
Yeah.
a good way of connecting with people. People who uh, I used to, I haven't done it so much now, but I used to, whenever people had liked my content, and again, I would, if they hadn't have if they weren't a connection, I would add them. Um, so again, that's another way you can utilize LinkedIn. Again, you would need to have the premium because they only give you, a certain amount of searches. I think it's only like 5 or 6. But again, another avenue that I would use is, say, for example, uh, I would I random I would drive past. I'd be away in the you know, say for example, Blue Enterprise Industrial Estate.
Hmm.
I'm going to meet a business there, and I would drive past CPS or something, and I would go, oh, I wonder who that is, and type in the CPS and LinkedIn, and then I would see who the managing director is,
Hmm.
maybe connect with them, you know. So always my mind's always, active.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then that comes back to LinkedIn because, as you know yourself, you've been in sales many years. It's very, very hard to get past the gatekeeper.
Yeah.
LinkedIn, you can just go boom. And many times when I went to look at a business, now I know I have lots of connections now, but many times now, even yesterday, when a guy said to me, there's a such and such and such and such was looking at telephone messaging service. I've went and typed them in. They're on LinkedIn, but not only are they on LinkedIn, but they're connected to me straight away. When I send them a message, generally they come back and go, Aaron, I've been watching what you do on LinkedIn, blah, blah, blah. And then straight away, I'm not actually having to sell.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
So
been done. And that's what
essentially,
I'm talking about. I'm not sitting back. I
yeah.
don't I don't mean to betray that I'm sitting back and waiting for it all to fall on my lap. There's just so many different processes that you can use LinkedIn for, and it's not a case of just going add, send a message. Collectively, it all, But again, you need to put a bit of time into it, and you need to. But after a while, it took me 2 years. I've been active on LinkedIn for 2 years. It's taken near enough then 2 years to get to part of me to where, for example, I wouldn't usually disclose this sort of information. Um, but since lockdown,
Yeah.
right, a lot of people just be taking it easy and chilling out and all the rest of it. There's obviously have this pandemic and this lockdown. Um, I have had, I actually yesterday I would have said I've had since lockdown 1 million views on my posts, but actually from a post that's done yesterday, and now I have 1.5 million views on my post that posted yesterday. Is now on 350,000 views.
Mental.
Um, so what? I know you mentioned likes. So for example, I think that post is on like 4 or 5 thousand likes, but people wrongly judge a post on likes.
Yeah.
You want to know what your reach is, So you might look at a post, and you go, oh flip, I've got 300 likes there, brilliant, happy days. But if your views were only 800,
Hmm.
you've only really reached 800. Whereas if your views were, you had 300 likes and your views were 100,000, you've reached 100,000 people.
Hmm. Hmm.
So essentially, it's not actually about likes, but if you don't get the likes, then other people don't see it. It doesn't come up in their feed. You know what I
Yep.
mean?
Yep.
So
Yep.
it's a bit of a, you
It's
know,
S22. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So
yeah,
in terms of that though, it's the ripple effect. I call it the ripple effect. So the LinkedIn ripple effect essentially is where this person likes your content, and then all of a sudden that person's 3,000 people in their network sees it, and so on and so forth.
exactly,
And you
exactly.
never know, who's in people's networks. For me personally, like I say, you know yourself, I'm a big advocate of LinkedIn. Love the platform. I've held many events off the back of it. I can remember holding an
Yeah,
event,
exactly.
and literally everybody who came to it was all from LinkedIn. Like 80 people, all from
Well,
LinkedIn.
how we met,
Well, yeah,
how we met,
yeah, yeah,
LinkedIn,
yeah, yeah.
uh, when you strip it right back, when you strip it right back to every single person you know, maybe sorry that you've met in the last year or two, if you strip it right back, there's most probably a connection to LinkedIn there in some way, shape, or
100%.
form. Whether
100%.
it be that someone from LinkedIn's recommended you, or you've met them, or you've seen them on a post, or you've met them at an event, and then you've connected on LinkedIn. So people who aren't using LinkedIn are missing out on absolutely ginormous um, opportunities. Massive.
Yeah, yeah. So from and it's actually more relevant now more than ever. So you've got the opportunity of LinkedIn, you've got the opportunity of marketing. You know, in today's world, right now, in the present moment in time, LinkedIn is the go-to platform to let people know what you're doing, to show people a little bit of your life, because a lot of people are working from home. So you've got to show
Mm-hmm.
people that, let people know that you're human. For me, I'm very strategic with LinkedIn as well, Aaron, in terms of, I connect with people that are usually senior level, but that I also know have good networks, because I know
Mm-hmm.
if I'm connecting with those people and they're seeing my content and they're engaged with my content, their network is also
Their
engaging with
network
my
sees it.
contact. So it's important to be strategic, and the whole purpose today was to get your insights from a sales perspective and a little bit about your journey, Aaron, and just to see what you're up to generally for the crack, um,
Yep.
but also to
You.
but to see about the LinkedIn, because you're very well known on LinkedIn. A lot of people just think that you're posting content up there and you're sort of sitting back. But in actual fact you're not. There's a process behind it. There's a lot of energy goes into it. It's very thought provoking. So
Mhm.
listen, I think you've shared some great advice there, and give people a little bit of an insight into your world, which is great. So I really appreciate that. Um,
No problem.
where
One
can
thing I
people
would just
go
say,
ahead? Yeah,
one thing I would just say is, when you're on LinkedIn, you don't need to be selling anything at all. At all. You can literally just be being yourself, and you know you don't need to actually go on and sell. Just let people see who you are and what you're about. You don't need to actually go on and say I've got a 2019 Range Rover Sport 600 for 55,000. Get it bought. You don't actually need to go on and post sell sell sell. It's just about getting people to know you. And in fact, I've met amazing amount of people that I'll never even do business with, um, and vice versa. But it's just amazing network, And of course, you wouldn't know where that leads down the line. They could refer you to someone, but that aside, um, the amount of people that you just would have, build relationships with is fantastic, business wise and maybe not so business wise.
yeah,
But there would be yourself when you're doing events, you're going to talk to a lot of people that you're never going to do business with. You don't just
yeah,
go, I'm never going to do business with him or her, so I'm not going to talk to them.
yeah. Definitely. It's again, it's that point of being strategic. These people, you may not ever do business with them, but they may know somebody. You know, and
Mm-hmm.
if they're in your corner and they're one of your fans as such, and they're sharing your content, you know they're marketing for you as well. So listen, I would say, in terms
Absolutely.
of LinkedIn is a great platform. I'm glad we've got to have this conversation, because there's a lot of people here that will be watching this are either business owners or salespeople, and to get a little insight into your world and the mad mind of Aaron Watson is fantastic.
It's not so mad after all, though, is it?
Not at all, not at all,
there
Aaron.
is there is a strategic plan there somewhere.
Somewhere in there. Um, but listen, now, where can people find you? If they're looking to reach out to you, and what types of people are you looking to speak to?
I'm basically want to reach out to all business owners, CEOs, managing directors, these guys that make the decisions um, who would need professional and home messaging service. I mean, you even think if you ring your estate agents or your bank or your, you know, wherever, most businesses have it. So that's, after all those sort of people, where you can find me, obviously, as we said, LinkedIn and our website, jahnmedia.com. And yeah, LinkedIn's the place where you'll probably find me, though, somewhere.
Great, great. Well, listen, Aaron, thank you very much for giving me your time today. And hopefully
No
we'll
bother.
grab a coffee after this pandemic is over. Okay,
Yes. Stay
that's
safe,
great.
mate. Yes.
Cheers, Aaron. Cheers.